Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the global stage right here at Switch 2025. My name is Bobby. It's great to be your host for our third and final day. Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Do we have our coffee? I know you don't have your coffee yet, sir. How about you two? Yes, sort of, not yet. Don't know. You're asking where it was at. Coffee's over there. Coke, Coke Zero, Perrier water, all that great stuff is there. Let me ask you guys, raise your hand. Is this your first time at Switch? Raise your hand. One person, ooh, quite a few. Is this your first day at Switch? Raise your hand. Okay, your first day. A couple of you guys here, first days. All right. The global stage is the stage where we connect entrepreneurs, innovators, businesses with respective markets around the globe. That's what this entire venue is about. But right here at this stage, you're going to hear from speakers like Patrick, I'm going to introduce in just a minute, about what it's like for startups in respective countries. Funding from VCs, from governments, what they're looking for, because sometimes when we open up a business, we open it up in our home city, our home country, because we're familiar with it. But sometimes we don't think that there's opportunities outside that maybe our business that we're doing might have a better opportunity to grow and succeed in another country across the globe. And that's what today is all about, and that's what these sessions are all about here. So without further ado, our first session is brought to you by Stage One, a startup initiative managed by the Action Community for Entrepreneurship, also known as ACE. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of ACE, Mr. Patrick Lim.
Hi, morning everyone. Not too bad. Let's do it again. Morning everyone. That's better. I know, day 3, 10 a.m. is really a twilight zone where we hardly get any voice. But today, I hope you are excited at me because I'm going to share with you a little bit of what Singapore is about and what Singapore can offer you in terms of your expansion into the region. My name is Patrick. I'm the CEO of ACE. And you might ask, what is ACE? It's a mouthful. ACE stands for Action Community for Entrepreneurship. We are non-for-profit organization that support the enhancement of the startup ecosystem. And more importantly, we look at enhancing the growth of Singapore-based startup. So we were part of Enterprise Singapore. We were corporatized 2014. And we play a very important role working with the government agency, corporate investors, incubator to support our Singapore-based startup. These are the good men and women behind ACE. This is my board member, supported by founders, academia, and of course, angels, investors, and VC as well. So credible organization, you can trust ACE, don't worry. More importantly, you might ask, what does ACE do? ACE basically we have 3 mandates. The first mandate is really looking at how we can continue to support the youth in terms of their entrepreneurship journey. So we are not focusing on just existing startup. We also try to groom the next generation of startup through our youth. Second thing, we really look at how we can enhance the startup ecosystem in Singapore further, because we don't believe that we are good now, we will stay among the best. We need to continue to invest in our local ecosystem and make sure that in the years to come, Singapore ecosystem remain competitive. Last but not least, how many of you run here? Active runner. Oh, not too bad. The size of Singapore from one end to the other end is less than the length of a marathon. That's how huge Singapore is. So ACE mandate is also looking at how we can help Singapore startup to globalize, because Singapore inherently were too small. But at the same time, in terms of global connectivity, on our third pillar, we also look at how we can attract foreign startup like yourself into Singapore. I know it's a bit boring, so let's get on to some quiz. Come on guys, it's a giveaway. The winner of this quiz get a one-night stay in our office. That's very attractive, I know. Come on, which country produced the highest number of unicorn? Anyone? US. Are you from US? No. Don't worry, I'll give you a one-night stay in my office. Yes, it's right. US, without a doubt. It's more than 1,000 startup unicorn in the US. Of course, the valuation of unicorn fluctuate, but this is what I took from Wikipedia about 1.5 months ago. If there's any change in number, please don't blame me, because the valuation of startup changes quite rapidly. Now, second question. Which country produces the highest number of unicorn per million population? It's a giveaway. Come on, it's another giveaway. Singapore. Why are you so confident? Singapore here? Any others? No. You want to look at this again? China. Okay, we have one China, one Singapore. Anyone? Sorry? Hong Kong. Wow. That's very close actually. And the answer is Singapore. Singapore have about 3.67 unicorn per million population. Hong Kong is fifth. US is second. I'm sorry, US, anyone of my American friend here, in terms of per million population, Singapore is ranked first. Why am I sharing this? You might think that for a small country, we'll produce a lot of unicorn. No, it's not true. Because our number of unicorn is only 28, less than 30. But what is more important behind the stats is, which I'm going to share with you later, many of the unicorn founder in Singapore, they are not Singaporean, but they choose Singapore as their place to expand, to have their HQ function here, and to grow out of Singapore. In fact, some of the well-known Singapore unicorn like Grab, PetSnap, Caro, yeah, so most of them are not Singaporean. But it's fine, we love them here, and we want to attract more of such foreign startup founders into Singapore. Last question. What is the most important consideration for you when you want to expand overseas? Anyone? Any founders among you? Yes, please. Size of market, customer, they are the same. Got it. Resources, connection, stability, resources. Sorry? Other startup, you have startup. Got it. Yeah. Now, thank you for sharing your thoughts with me, and it makes my job a lot easier. Basically, it's potential market opportunity, pro enterprise, or pro business environment, a vibrancy in the startup ecosystem, and of course, we are all very greedy, all of the above. You have to meet all the conditions for us to expand into a new market. But what if I tell you there's one country that fulfill all these criteria, and that is, of course, I have to be biased, Singapore. So I'll share with you a little bit of the Singapore startup ecosystem, and hopefully from this session, you will get to understand what is so attractive about Singapore despite our small size, and what's the next step if you decide that Singapore is the right place for you. Now, so this is an overview of Singapore startup ecosystem. For a small country, we have about 4,500 tech startup, more than 500 VC, and more than 200 what you call that, incubator accelerator in Singapore. Small country, but power pack, punch above our weight. And if you want to be in the vibrant ecosystem, this is the right place. Usually people ask me the question, why Singapore? And always turn it around and tell them and ask them, why not Singapore? Yeah, why not Singapore? Because if you look at Singapore, as what I mentioned earlier, we have a pro-business environment. We have stability and predictability. Since our independence, 1965, 60 years ago, we have one government. And the one government means any of the economic policy, the business policy, they are predictable, and there is a longevity in terms of what the government is doing in terms of the economic development. And of course, we have supported Singapore government who have organized such an event like Switch, and we have vibrancy in the ecosystem. Last but not least, gateway to Asia, which I'll share a little bit with you later. Now, this is another reason why you should consider Singapore. Singapore, we are home to about 7,000 MMC. Yes, we are very small as a market, 6.1 million population, but we are home to 7,000 MMC. Many of them have their regional HQ function here. Several of them have their R&D function here, and many others are also looking for opportunity collaborate with enterprises and startups in Singapore and in the region. So you're in the right place, highest concentration of MMC within the region. For a small country, we also have a network of world-class research institutions, including A-Star, NUS, NTU, CREATE, etc. And it's not just about our local research institution, it's also the connectivity that they have. Many of them have joint researchers with their peer in UK, in US, in China. So if you're in Singapore, you want to tap on R&D, talent, infrastructure, this is the right place to be in because you can get access to world-class facility. We are not the biggest, but we're one of the best. Of course, cooperation, there's a lot of cooperation also looking at co-innovation, collaboration, opportunity with startup. As you walk through the aisles this couple of days, you realize that many of these corporations are doing a fair bit also to support the startup ecosystem in Singapore. Last but not least, this is a very pressing issue faced by the world today, anti-trade. But in Singapore, you get access to many of these free trade agreements whereby if you want to export your products, services out of Singapore, you can get access, take advantages of all the FTA that Singapore has to offer that allows you to move your goods or services more freely around the world. So again, take advantage of the infrastructure that Singapore has for you. This is just an overview of independent ranking that showcase again and again why Singapore is the right place for you. It's not just about the pro-business environment. It's also about how innovative we are globally, how digitized we are, and also IP protection, which is key to many of these startups when you want to grow your business. And talent, we are among the top in the world in attraction of talent, retention of talent. So it's a right place to be in as well. Any of you are in Singapore to raise fund? Don't be shy. Okay, a few hands. Again, as I shared earlier, we have about more than 500 VC based here. And if you look at the stats, last year itself, in terms of the number of deals, in terms of the amount of deals that goes into startup, Singapore dominate within Southeast Asia. 58% of all the deal volume within Southeast Asia were actually invested in Singapore-based startup. And about 68% of all the VC deal valuation actually were invested into Singapore-based startup. So you can be sure that VC, whether in the region, in Singapore, whenever you say that you want to raise fund, there will be a lot more eyeball on startup based in Singapore. It's not easy to raise fund now, we all know. There's a funding winter now. But look look for the investors later this afternoon at the Slingshot Final. You also realize that some of the investors are also actively looking for funding. In fact, the last few weeks, we have 5 VC coming to us and say, hey, do you have deals? I'm looking for investment opportunity. So there are opportunities in Singapore to have a chat with the VC and then see whether they are interested in you. But there's something that you need to take note of, which I'll share with you later. As I mentioned, Singapore government is extremely supportive for startup. And why is that so? Startup in the initial phase, you have to depend on the 3F. Friends, family, or fools to get started. And in terms of alphabetical order, what comes after F? It's G. And G stands for government. So Singapore government is extremely supportive when it comes to supporting startup. And if you forget everything I said today, please remember this part. Startup SG program, whereby Singapore government look at 6 different pillars to support startup in terms of their early stage development. As you might heard during the opening speech by DPM Gan on Monday, on the first day, you realize that Singapore is increasingly looking at developing our deep tech ecosystem or our deep tech startup ecosystem. So in terms of the funding available for deep tech startup, more than $28 billion has been committed under the RIE 2025. RIE stands for Research, Innovation, and Enterprise. So the money don't just look at direct funding into R&D or funding startup. It's also looking at infrastructure, talent, and any other support required by our deep tech startup. So there are quite a number of agencies involved in the middle. You can see that there are 6 different agencies involved. And of course, government also look at partnering venture builders to see how we can continue to grow deep tech startup at the initial phase. How many of you know the definition of deep tech? No. Well, there are about 50 plus of us in the room. I can bet with you probably we have 30 different definitions of deep tech. To help you guys, deep tech, where Singapore government is concerned, these are the 4 pillars that they're looking at. Manufacturing, trade, and connectivity, that's one big part. Human health and potential, that's another one. Urban solution and sustainability. And last but not least, smart nation and digital economy. If you think about it, these are the key pillars of deep technologies that Singapore government is focusing on. And you realize that these are the emerging trend, or more importantly, emerging threat faced by mankind. Global aging population is one big piece. Climate challenges is another one big piece. The emergence of AI is another one big piece. So where the big big challenges are concerned, government here want to double down and say, hey, we should invest in the future. We should look for R&D. We should look for startup that can fulfill these 4 pillars and support Singapore eventually. So if you happen to be a startup in any of these 4 pillars, do have a chat with the government agency, do have a chat with ACE, and we see how we can further support you to navigate, the support, the assistance, the resources available in Singapore to support you. If some of you have came to Singapore before, you might have a chance to visit Launchpad. This is where ACE office is based in. Launchpad is the Silicon Valley equivalent in Singapore. It has the highest concentration of the startup ecosystem here. About 700 startup, VC, angel, incubator are based within 7 blocks. It's a very old estate, about 50 years old, some of the building. But we love it there for a simple reason, because you can walk around, you can have an interaction with your fellow founders, you can have an interaction with investors. There are a lot of activity happening there. If you happen not to be, if you have not visited Launchpad, if it's not too late, I urge you guys, take a look at Launchpad, visit there and ask yourself whether this is the right place for you if you want to set up an office in Singapore. And for our local startup among the crowd today, if you need a space, talk to us. We'll link you with JTC. We hope that you'll be part of Launchpad. But Launchpad is not just about infrastructure. It's really not. Launchpad is really about the community. Singapore won't pretend that we are the Silicon Valley of the East. And I would say that the magic of Silicon Valley cannot be easily replicated. Let's not get there. But in Singapore, despite the fact that we are early in our startup ecosystem journey, there's a vibrant community, a very supportive community whereby if you need help and you talk to someone, and that person, even if he or she may not have the right information, trust me, the person will link you with someone who knows and who can support you. And that's the spirit of Singapore in terms of startup ecosystem. People here are willing to help. If you ask the right question, if you're willing to look at your plans in Singapore, there will always be someone happy to support you. Yeah. And for a local startup, if you're not familiar with the ecosystem here, come and talk to me. Come and talk to my team. We'll be here to support you. Now, because Singapore is very small, there's also this program called the Global Innovation Alliance Program, whereby through the program GIA, you can get connected with local partners in different parts of the world. Whether you're going to Europe, Middle East, Africa, America, under the GIA, there's always a partner there who can help you to navigate local startup ecosystem, and more importantly, point you in the right direction if you choose to go there. So to me, this is one step about gateway to the world, gateway to Asia that Singapore provides for you. I believe many of you are here in Singapore because you heard that Southeast Asia is very exciting. There's a lot of things happening, and it's a good opportunity to land in Singapore and expand into Southeast Asia. It's really true. Southeast Asia, we have about 670 million people, and it's projected to grow to 700 plus million by this year. And if you look at the profile of the population, many of them are below 30 years old. It's huge market, but I'll share with you later, it's not as easy as it seems. Now, I just want to share two stories of foreign startups that have found Singapore their home when they expanded overseas. The first company is called Gementech. Gementech is in semicon, and they do hardware development, and they're in cybersecurity. When they look around the world, they wanted to find a place where the system is trusted, the reputation is trusted, and through that market, they want to expand overseas. And they found Singapore. Incorporated here for 2 years, doing very well in terms of leveraging Singapore reputation to grow around the world. So the founders have also expanded into Europe, expanded into US, and expanded to Australia through Singapore. So while Singapore is small, there's always opportunity to expand outside of Singapore through Singapore. Another company is called Talent Hero. They are doing EOR, very common. The two co-founders, they were corporate guys, spending many of their years in corporate world. When we first met them, they said that, Patrick, I need help. I'm very familiar with the corporate world, but in the startup environment, I'm clueless. So these two gentlemen, they actually went through our incubation program, 3 months. We get them through looking at their business model, looking at their go-to-market strategy, get a mentor to support them, get them to talk to investors. That's something that we help them to do so that they can scrub their business model and, more importantly, be more prepared when they want to expand their business. But ACE support doesn't stop there. We also look at how we can help them to go overseas. So they mount on 3 missions with us to go overseas. Again, leveraging the resources of ACE and the Singapore startup ecosystem to go overseas. Now, these are a few points that I thought is worth looking at. Size matter. I always say, come to Singapore, leverage on what Singapore can provide you, and use Singapore to expand overseas. Earlier on, I mentioned about talking to VC. You will realize something if you are here for the last few days. Typically, the investors or the partner will ask you, what's your commitment? What are you planning to do in Singapore? Are you expanding? When are you incorporating? So perhaps it's peculiar in Singapore, in Southeast Asia, but typically, the partners that you want to work with will ask you, what is your plan? So while you may not have that in mind now, at some point, when you want to expand to Singapore, think about it. Because the investors, the partner will keep asking you, what is your commitment to Singapore? Are you incorporating here? Are you going to expand out of Singapore, etc., etc.? So that's something to be mindful of. And last thing, Southeast Asia is not homogeneous. We have 11 different countries, 11 different set of business norm, culture norm, languages. So not as simple as I mentioned earlier. Well, this is the last part of my presentation, but I guess I share a lot. And if you still feel like you're lost at sea, navigating startup ecosystem, don't worry. ACE, together with Enterprise Singapore and together with EDB, we launched Stage 1. Stage 1, as you guys may be familiar with, is an initiative by EDB Enterprise Singapore to look at how we can support local and foreign startups to navigate Singapore startup ecosystem. There are 3 things that we do. For the foreign startup, we help you look at incorporations, setup, understanding the rules of the land, understanding the regulations, so that your initial phase of starting in Singapore is smooth. So that's probably more tailored towards a foreign startup. But regardless of whether you're a local startup or foreign startup, we look at capability building for growth. ACE, annually, we organize about 80 events. We link you up with investors, corporations, mentor, expert, fireside chats, you name it, we do it. The whole idea here is for a startup to grow, you need access to different resources. And through our activity, through our connection, we hope that this will smoothen the path for you to go to the next phase of your development. Last but not least, internationalization. It's a fair bit of things that we do because we realize Singapore is too small and we really need our startup to get out there as early as possible to understand what the world is like and how they can conquer a market beyond Singapore. And in order for us to do our work, there's a lot of partners that we work with, whether it's corporates, ecosystem partner, or overseas partners. So come to us. We are a very small team, but we are powerful in terms of the network we have who can support you to grow in Singapore or beyond Singapore. That's all I have. And I would say one last advice for our foreign friend here. If you come to Singapore for a few days, well and good. But you have to spend quality time. Quality time talking to people, understanding the culture, understanding the challenges, understanding the opportunity in Singapore. It's not easy, we know. Even for a startup in Singapore, they also know it's not easy to navigate around. But of course, ACE, we're here to help. Enterprise Singapore and the government agency and our partners, we're here to help. And if you need any support, my booth is there. Sorry, a bit of hard selling there. It's under the Startup SG Pavilion. Just look out for us with the man and lady in red t-shirt, ACE. Will be here to support you and to advise you in terms of what you can do in Singapore, and more importantly, how we can partner you to look at a growth opportunity in Singapore. With that, I'll end my presentation. I hope that you have a great day ahead of you on day 3 of Switch, and I hope to see you guys very soon again in Singapore if you are foreign founders. But for our local partners, our local startup, please be our member and please join us for our events. That's all I have. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Patrick. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Patrick Lim here. Fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in about 10 minutes time, 10:35 a.m., we're going to be hearing from our friends from Tokyo, Japan about the startup initiatives happening over there with Sushi, as we're calling it. So that's happening right here at 10:35 a.m. at the global stage, right here at Switch 2025.